Everybody has watched TV, movies, sports, and politics and seen those celebrities, but have you heard their real stories? Every episode on Celebrity Encounters podcast, we interview real people just like you sharing their own personal celebrity encounters. And with a little storytelling help from us and a few surprises from here in Las Vegas, this is Celebrity Encounters podcast.
And
here we are with Celebrity Encounters podcast. I'm Harlan.
I'm Alan, and today we are here with Leslie.
Leslie, welcome to the
Leslie.
show. Hi. So, I have to admit here, Alan, I've got a ringer here in the room with us. I've known Leslie for a very long time.
Uh-oh.
Yep, she grew up within the entertainment industry.
Okay.
You know, I met her when she was 2 years old. She's 35 now.
It was a very young two, right?
It was a very, yeah. It feels like 2 years ago, at least. I don't know.
No, it doesn't.
And I have to tell you, there are a lot of friends of mine that have those encounters. Leslie, I think, is definitely one of the queen of encounters. She has, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today, we're only hearing the good.
Yeah, I have some
I'd
ugly
love
ones
to hear
that
the ugly, but
I will spare people of. All right. Where's my crown?
Oh, I didn't go to Burger King this morning.
Okay. I forgive you.
Do they still give those out?
Oh, yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah, in fact, Stephen Colbert wore one the other night.
Well, if he could do it, we could certainly
That's
do
right.
it.
That's right.
All right. I'll be back in 20 minutes. I'm going to Burger King. All right, Leslie, what you got?
Okay. So you wanted to hear about my random celebrity encounters, even though I've had professional ones in my life. Okay. When I was a kid, like a little kid, like in the womb kid type of kid, I was able to go to the Fox lot, which at the time was called 20th Century Fox, because there was something called the Animal Academy Awards. So that doesn't exist anymore, but they used to give out awards for famous animals that were in films like Lassie, that sort of thing. So I was there, and in those days, of course, parents did not tether their children with a harness and want to know wherever they were. So when I told my mom, I have to go to the bathroom, she just said, well, go find the bathroom. And I had no idea where I was going. And I started running because...
So your mother set you free roaming? I trust you. You're safe.
Well, we're talking about the dinosaur age here, So, I mean... Yeah, in those days, actually in LA, you could do that. So she set me free. I went running to find a bathroom, and suddenly I slammed into somebody's knees, and I looked up, and I felt like I was looking up to the tallest skyscraper in the world, and that unmistakable voice said to me, whoa, 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 where are you going, little girl? And it was Jimmy
that's
Stewart.
Super creepy. I'm going to stop you right there. Where are you going, little girl?
All right,
I don't know who you're talking about, but now,
I mean, imagine if some kid ran full speed into your knees, and he was very nice though. But I just looked up. It just seemed like I was looking up into infinity. And it was Jimmy Stewart. Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy Stewart. Really?
Yeah.
He was there at the animal show?
Animal Academy Awards, yeah. He was.
And he was coming out of the washroom.
Yeah, he had to get all the dog and animal gunk off of him.
Yeah.
So you run into Jimmy Stewart. He says, where are you going, little girl? And
I said, I have to go to the bathroom. Just pointed.
Now, as a little girl, did you recognize him? Did you realize who it was?
Yeah. Now, you got to understand that in my house, there was TV going all the time. And my grandmother used to stay with us very often, and she loved old Hollywood films. So I was very familiar with Jimmy Stewart for sure. Yeah.
That's awesome. Before you continue with your story, was there one that you remember watching as a kid that made you go, "Oh, that's Jimmy Stewart"?
Um, well, it was just kind of, well,
You've seen him
gentlemen.
so many times on TV, huh?
Yeah, no, it was everything. I mean, I've seen everything. Uh, yeah, I can't point to one specific thing right now. I just feel like my brain's kind of fried, but
So you didn't look up at him and say, "Wow, this is a wonderful life."
Oh, that was
Right?
good.
Yeah, like that.
That was good.
It's a Wonderful Life. I thought I ran into his knees. So
I
yeah.
think she would say it's a wonderful life after she went to the bathroom, not before.
Yeah,
Yes,
no, I
yes,
wasn't
that would
feeling
be
it was a
wonderful.
wonderful life at that very moment.
So you run into him, you see this towering, can you do a Jimmy Stewart imitation?
He was like six
Yeah,
foot three.
yeah.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good. I got nothing. I can't do a Jimmy Stewart imitation. Can you do one?
No, I can't do it.
No.
No, I
Okay,
wouldn't
so
dare.
he stops you, he's looking at you, and what happens?
Well, then, he just kind of tapped me on the shoulder, sort of pointed, and it was like in that unmistakable voice, "It's over there, little girl." And then that was it. And he disappeared into the crowd. Of course, he didn't really disappear because his head was sort of bobbing over other people's heads. Yeah.
That's amazing. And then you go use the restroom, you come back to your seat and you tell mom?
Oh, yeah. Of course, I told my mom, and but my mom was very, like, well, was he nice? That's all she wanted to know. Was he nice?
He didn't kidnap you.
Yeah.
No, because my mom
That's on
had
today's
Yeah, you're right.
world, right?
my mom had her own share of encounters, and sometimes people were rude. So first thing she wanted to know was he nice? And he was.
No, that's
So
good. That's a
Yeah.
mom. That's being protective
Right.
mom kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I would wonder too if Jimmy Stewart would be nice. He's got this persona on the screen.
Yep.
Well,
He's the Tom
exactly.
Hanks of back then.
Right. Absolutely. And there are some people that are really nice on the screen that are just jerks in person.
Oh yeah,
So,
Leslie and I, when we were prepping for the show, she and I got into those conversations, which we're not going
Yeah.
to bring up here, Leslie. Don't worry. But
They're
both
not
of us
coming
have
on the
quite
show.
list.
No, I mean, there's some people out there that, yeah, they should think a little bit more when they run into people kind of casually, whether somebody might want to be on a show one day and then reveal it, but I'm not going to do that.
No. We're here about positivity in our celebrities.
right. And I've had those encounters when I was with WTTW in Chicago.
Yeah.
And we would have celebrities in.
Yep.
And some of them were really, really wonderful people, and others were real jerks.
Well, I could tell one just because he's not alive anymore.
Ooh, we'll take it. Bring it.
Okay.
I haven't told you this one, Harlan.
Okay.
When I was in like second grade, I was selected to be on Art Linkletter's house party. I don't know if you know that show.
Oh, yes. Very cool.
So I was a house party kid. They came to school and picked me up in a limo, and I go with all the other kids. And Art Linkletter wasn't that nice, I have to say.
Oh,
No, it wasn't that
it was
nice.
a kid show, right?
Well, no, it was kids say the darndest things.
Oh.
Remember,
Yeah,
they had them
yeah.
all lined up. They were sitting on chairs, and Art would come and ask them questions about what's going on at home and things like that.
Right.
And the reaction that they would cut back to Art Linkletter, and he go,
He did do that. But the thing was, I, as a kid who watched the show, always thought, wow, he knows every kid and he's so wonderful to them. Well, they brought us in a green room to ask us questions before. And then we get up there and I realized he doesn't know any of our names.
Oh.
Because, no, he had a placard with our name under, like at the bottom of the high chair, high stool we were sitting on. So when he went to each kid, he'd look down and then he'd know your name. So I thought, whoa, he doesn't even know who we are. And then, yeah, so he was a little bit grumpy, but
Wow. Art Linkletter. I've never heard any stories like that
well, I'll
before.
tell you another little bit about that. So
Oh, here
he,
it comes.
he asked me, requisite questions about, your favorite food or whatever it is. And then he said, what do you like school? And I surprised him because I said something I didn't say in the green room. I said, school's a prison. I think he was expecting that. And he just like went right on to the next kid. But
But
then we
isn't the show called Kids Say the Darndest Things?
Well, that was that segment.
Oh,
anyway, when we took a commercial break, my mom was in the audience and she was doing this. She kept doing this very slowly, and I was sitting there on the chair saying, what are you doing, Mom? And he happened to be walking around and he saw my mother doing that. And then he announced this was of course not on camera because we were having commercial break, but he announced to the audience, he says, oh, look at that mother clapping for her child. And in fact, she wasn't clapping for me. She was telling me to put my legs together because I was wearing a dress and you
uh-oh.
could see right up to the Carter's underwear.
Uh-oh.
So I didn't know that until later on. But
Oh my
that,
goodness.
yeah, that was a
That's
good
funny.
story.
That's good. That is a good story.
Oh my God. And I can only imagine, like, as a parent, you're like, everyone loves Art Linkletter. Like, I
Yeah.
remember as a
Yep.
kid watching his show, not as vividly as you two, but I remember, like, oh, that guy's great. He loves kids. And to find out, nope, at least,
Oops.
yeah.
Well,
Actually,
and
he
he
could
was
have.
kind of the first one to interview kids, and that as it developed over the years, more and more celebrities decided they wanted to talk to kids, that it was a lot of fun, that they did say the darndest things. So
And not to segue into this conversation, but didn't Bill Cosby do Kids Say the
oh
Darndest
yeah.
Things also?
You probably shouldn't be mentioning Bill Cosby.
I'm just saying, Art Linkletter handed the baton to Bill Cosby. Ay,
He did.
caramba.
He
Okay, let's
did.
get back to
Yeah.
Jimmy Stewart. So, was he a presenter there at the show, or what was he doing there? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, he was a presenter. Are you talking about Jimmy Stewart? He was a
Yeah.
presenter. There were a number of people who were presenting awards, but that actually was later on. I didn't know. I just thought, oh, wow, what is he doing here? But he was presenting an award.
So,
So,
if you had to guess, use your imagination on this because I doubt you're going to remember. What award would Jimmy Stewart give to an animal award show? What do you think they picked him to do, Leslie?
if it was somebody like a Don Rickles, I would have said it was Judy the chimp. It would have been like the chimp from Daktari. But I think if I could guess, it would have been for Lassie for best performance.
Oh,
Oh,
you're
oh
going
yeah.
nice on that.
Yeah.
I could see him doing Lassie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was just, the man of true integrity, kind of like Gregory Peck, that sort of thing.
I had encounters with June Lockhart from the old Lassie show
Oh,
uh,
wow.
when I was
Wow.
in my 20s. Yeah, I
Did she
was.
actually like dogs?
That's a good question.
I don't know, but I had worked for United Airlines at the time, and it was my turn passenger service that day to take care of all the celebrities. And I was brand new, and the head of the celebrities at United said, okay, your first assignment is to go meet June Lockhart at the gate and bring her into the VIP lounge, make sure she has lunch, and then connect her to her Los Angeles flight. She was coming out of Ohio, connecting in O'Hare. And they give her to me, and everybody snickers in the room. There was like 8 of us that were taking care of the celebrities that day. And I said, why are you snickering? And they said, she doesn't like any of us.
Oh,
She is really difficult. And I said, okay, she doesn't know me. I'm a nice guy, right? And I go to the gate and I open up the door, get on the airplane, and she's right in first class with her daughter. And I said, Mrs. Larkhart, I'm Alan. I'm here to take you to the VIP lounge and we'll get you lunch and then we'll connect you. And she says, wonderful. And she gives me her bag and she says, let's go. And we started walking and we were talking and we sat down, we had lunch. We had a very nice conversation. I get her on the flight to Los Angeles, get her settled in. She says, you are the best. I love you. You're going to take care of me from now on. And I did. She requested me every time, and we had a wonderful time together every time she came through O'Hare.
and each time that you helped her, did she pet you lovingly?
Yeah, right.
She's
she
like,
give
you
you the-
remind me of my co-star.
Well, she was doing Lost in Space at the time.
Okay.
Okay.
And she lived in Ohio, and she would come through O'Hare on Mondays because they would start shooting, and then on Fridays she'd come back through and go home. So
So you didn't act like a evil robot then.
I did not,
And she
I did not.
appreciated that.
She really did, and she was very nice to me. And everybody said, "How did you do this?" That she's always requesting you. I said, she's nice to me. I said, I'm nice to her and her kids.
Well,
know?
you came in a nice tan, fuzzy coat,
No, I had my United blazer on with my name tag,
and you
my
would
tie.
talk occasionally. You give a little lassie.
Speaking of
you.
Lost
I know
in
you.
Space, the guy who was the villain, remember the guy who was the
Yes.
villain?
Dr. Smith.
Yep.
What was his
Dr.
name?
Smith.
Yes, but his real name.
Oh,
Oh.
God, forget it. I'm terrible with names.
Okay, all right. You're gonna look it up on your phone right now. No, I ran into him too at the UCLA Book Fair, and I was with my mom, and she said his name was Jonathan. I'm remembering it's Jonathan. Anyway, she said, go up and get his autograph because he had written a children's book,
Oh,
book.
okay. Bringing it back
And
to
so
your
she
family.
said, go and buy a copy of the book and get his autograph and have him inscribe it to you. And he was just the grumpiest guy.
Oh, well, he fit his character.
Yeah,
then.
he did.
Yes, he
He was
did.
grumpy
He
on the
did.
show. Yeah.
He did.
So I
Anyway.
want to spin back to Jimmy Stewart because the animal award I thought he would give away would be to Mr. Ed, the horse, because Mr. Ed, I think, sounded a lot like Jimmy. Yeah, Wilbur.
You're right. You're right.
Right?
That would have made sense.
I'm Mr. Ed.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, actually, they were giving an award to Mr. Ed.
Oh,
See?
see?
They gave an award to Mr. Ed that award season, and I think it was one to the chimp on Daktari and to Lassie and a few other famous animals, So
They don't do that show anymore. Did he not work with animals anymore?
well,
Oh,
they
they
do,
do.
but I think it was kind of like a one or two off thing that they decided to do for promotion of specific shows and films. It didn't continue that I remembered.
I see the producers going, look, the Oscars are snubbing us, the Emmys are snubbing us. We're starting our own award show.
Yes, we're going to have the Animal Awards.
It's going to be huge, I'm telling you.
Or they could do like the animal awards, and it could be like a Will Smith moment where the dogs start fighting.
Oh
That
my
would be
God.
good,
Can you imagine? Mr. Ed, Lassie, and the chimp all go at each other in a brawl.
I don't want to know.
Woo!
I don't
Yeah,
want to
that
know.
wouldn't hold up today.
It would be Animal Smackdown.
That's right. Oh my gosh. And so the award show finishes, and did Jimmy come up or say anything to you? Like, I just want to check with the mom. Did the daughter make it back to her seat?
No, that was it. He disappeared, and that was my one and only time that I literally ran into him. So
That's
yeah.
awesome.
It was
That's
an awesome
That's a
one.
good story.
Yeah, that's a great story.
Yep. because I don't think I've run into anybody in a bath. Oh, that's not true. Actually, I just had one recently. Okay, I can't share that one.
Oh, no. Bathrooms are off limits. Sorry about that.
The short search, I won't mention the name, but like I had to go to the bathroom, and I go to the bathroom, and this is on a different show than one of mine. And the producer goes to my executive producer. Harlan was stalking this guy and followed him into the bathroom. And like they said his name, and it's a big comedian. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. And they're like, you don't know who that is? I'm like, I don't know who that is. But you followed him into the bathroom. I'm like, I had to go to the bathroom. It had nothing to do about stalking him.
I follow a lot of people into the bathroom because they got to go to the bathroom,
That's right, exactly.
Especially in the casinos, there's a lot of people that go into the bathroom.
Absolutely. But that makes us stalkers every
I
day.
guess so. Well, I guess that's it for today's Celebrity Encounter podcast. I want to thank
round of applause for Leslie.
Thank Leslie very much.
You're welcome.
It was very interesting. Loved Jimmy Stewart. Loved listening to him all those years.
Oh my God! And we segued into a bunch of other celebrities too.
He was especially good on the Tonight Show. I loved when he was with Johnny Carson because they would always have a great conversation, and he was always funny. So thank you again, Leslie.
You're welcome.
It was wonderful.
You're welcome.
And we'll hope to see you next time on Celebrity Encounters Podcast. Thanks for tuning in today. And if you enjoyed our show, please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast on all your favorite platforms. We'll see you next week with the next episode of Celebrity Encounter Podcast.